everyone. Welcome back to TC 911 Beyond the Call. This is episode 20, and I'm your host, Abbey Dudek, the communications coordinator at Tarrant County 911 District. And if you're joining us for the first time, welcome, and thank you all for listening and supporting our podcast. Today, we have Aniel Austin, our Chief Financial Officer. Hi, Aniel.
Hi, Abby.
How are you today?
I'm doing good. Thank you for asking.
Well,
how are you?
I'm doing fabulous. Thank you for being the very last staff member for the podcast.
Absolutely. The pleasure is on mine.
So we saved the best for last, right?
They say that, right?
Yeah. So, Aniel, how long have you been at TC 911 District?
So in October this year, it will be 5 years. So kind of 4.5 right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, congratulations on you're almost a high five.
Yes.
So I call it 5 years.
Right.
What did you do prior to? Because your background is, obviously as our CFO, you're the money man, as we call you. What did you do prior to coming to the district?
So I have been working in finance, and that's the field I chose for now almost 18 years. Prior to coming to TC 911, I was working with Girl Scouts as a senior accountant. So, yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Did you get all you could eat Girl Scout cookies?
No. We had to, as an employee, we do have to purchase those.
Oh, I just didn't know if they were just laying around all the time.
Yeah.
Like just bowls full of Thin Mints or...
But if we had our team meetings, they do had those out.
For snacks.
For snacks.
Oh, what a horrible snack. Okay, what is your favorite Girl Scout cookie?
I would say Thin Mints.
Thin Mints, yeah, they pretty much. Do you freeze them or don't freeze them?
I do not freeze them.
Have you heard that, though?
I have heard that.
People keep them in the freezer, and then they just are just that delicious. So, yeah, that's nice. Okay, so you said for 18 years, finance was your main thing. Was that what you went to school for?
Correct.
And everything? So
I started my career as an auditor because my degree asked for that. We had to have that experience along with our degree. So that's how we completed our degree. So it was a mandatory thing that I have to work for an audit agency. So I started my career as an auditor. Mm-hmm. So I worked as an auditor for 2 years, and then I shifted to a finance department.
Okay. So with auditing, did you only do nonprofits, or was it just contract work and you just went in whoever needed to be audited?
So I was associated with a firm. They had job assignments all over, all kinds of clients. So, yeah.
Okay.
So there were nonprofits, there were for-profit clients. So there was a multitude of spectrum of clients. Yeah.
And is the Girl Scouts the first financial job you got when you left auditing?
No, after my audit experience, when I shifted to the finance world, I worked for a university.
Oh, okay.
And that's how I started my career as a staff accountant. And then I grew in that field. And
so you must really like math.
I kind of do, yes.
Ew. This is a good one. It's the math whiz of the building meets the art person. It's two different spectrums. But so what is it? Where do you see differences? Because it seems like you said you worked at a university, and then you went nonprofits too. Are universities considered nonprofit? Is that
That university was a nonprofit. Yes.
Okay. I wasn't really sure if most universities are nonprofit or for-profit,
yes.
Or I had no idea. Yeah. All I know is I went to 2 of them and gave them a lot of money, and they gave me a piece of paper in return. So that's nice. So have you ever thought about going into more of a commercialized organization or business, like for profit, or like working for Coca-Cola or doing something like that? Or did you specifically have an eye on, I want to work with nonprofits?
So it wasn't like I had like targeted that I want to work for nonprofits. After I worked for that university, I did work for a for-profit business, which was in Dallas for about 2 years. And yeah, so it was a good experience. Yeah. So yeah.
What do you like so much? Like, out of all the jobs that you have, what's making Tarrant County 911 stick with you?
So this is a very different field. I have worked for a nonprofit, but I haven't worked for a government agency.
The government nonprofit.
So this is definitely different experience. I learned a lot of new things here, and that's what strives me, and that's what is very, like, my aim is to educate myself every single day. So there were a lot of new things and rules and regulations, government codes, legislature that I learned when I started here. I learned new things. So this is keeping me on my feet, and I really like learning new things, which is kind of very satisfying personally, because I feel like I am growing my knowledge base, and that could be for a multitude of reasons for future.
There's no redundancy. Like, you're you constantly have something new or something exciting around every corner with the finances, I'm sure, around here.
That is correct.
There is always something, because I know just with my stuff, it's like piddly stuff. That's small potatoes compared to a lot of the stuff that I'm sure the tech team does and everything like that, since they're the biggest, department in our building and everything. So, wow. What was something that was, I guess, maybe I'm going to say struggle as a negative word, but something that you were like, okay, I'm going to really have to like maybe change a few things or retrain myself, and then like, how did you overcome that? Since you were saying this was quite the difference for you working for a government nonprofit.
So the accounting side wasn't that different. It was more of a legislature and government codes that you have to keep up with, and how our district is operating and what rules and regulations it needs to follow. It was more on that aspect of things as opposed to the pure accounting side. Accounting side was fairly similar. It's very similar, but there are few nuances that are different. Like, we have to have GASB rules that we need to follow, which is Government Accounting Board. So there are some nuances. So I just had to educate myself on those GASB rules and regulations.
How often do those change?
They do not change that often, but in the last 2 years, I would say, there were a couple of GASB 88, I believe, and there was 90 that was on leases and software as a subscription. That was changed how we report those items. So, and this is actually going to be our first year implementing those. So I'm excited about that. So.
Okay. Should I be excited too, or no?
It depends. If you have any software as in subscriptions.
I do.
And so then you need to be excited.
I need to be excited or be prepared.
Right. Be prepared, I would say.
Be prepared for future changes. Okay, I'm so excited. I can't wait. Well, that is awesome. How do you... So since you continue to educate yourself with all the changes and everything, what are some maybe goals that you would like that you set for yourself, or maybe you like to see in your financial money man world there? What does that look like? Because, you have a very different department than a lot of us do, because, again, you're the money man. You handle all of our finances and stuff. So what kind of changes can be implemented into that as we go into the future?
Sure. So my number one goal is the transparency, and which is very important to me. If a staff member comes and asks me question and the information I try and let me back up a little bit. So with our new change in the software, the procurement software, my number one goal was to have every staff member self-sustain themselves on how they see their numbers, how they can view their budget. They had that information on their fingertips. So that comes to that my number one rule, transparency. And same goes for public. Since we are public entity, I want everyone as transparent as possible. The more information which is available publicly for the users, for the public, that they can see how our financial practices are being performed. That is really important to me. So I will keep on improving. There's always room for improvement. Nothing is perfect in this world, so I live by that rule, and I'm always open to suggestions on that. So
that's good. All right, well, good. That's nice. I like that. I love the transparency. I mean, and all of this, all of our finances, like our monthly expenses and billing and utilities and everything, can be found on our website at tc911.org, including other disclosures that we do put out that the public can see, because we're very transparent. We want you to know what we're doing over here, besides having great chats on podcasts and awesome Facebooks and posts and all that other jazz. So well, that's interesting. I love it. Are you always going to stay a department of one, or do you think that maybe your department will grow and you'll need a sidekick?
It will definitely grow as we are growing in numbers. So yeah, definitely. That's the plan. Get
a little miniature money person. And there you go. Your sidekick. What do they call it? I guess sidekick. I'm thinking of superheroes. So yeah, I guess that would be sidekick, a Robin to your Batman type of thing. So that would be great. And we need to get some more space.
Right.
So well, awesome. Do you have anything? Like any sort of words of wisdom? I mean, if it's financial, I'm assuming that since you're a financial person, you're probably really good with money. So, I mean, I would hope so. I'm sure if our executive director is listening, she would hope so. Would you have any advice? This is not official financial advice. This is a friendly conversation, and Aniel is just sharing some tips that he may use that works for him. Okay, there's our disclaimer right there.
So, always be on top of your finances, personal or for official. I'm always on top of my finances. There's always a desire to spend more money, but you have to ensure that you stay in your budget limits, and that's always a very important, and that's the key to success, personally and professionally. There are desires that people have that can be achieved, but you have to work for that. So don't spend more than what you bring in. Right.
I get that feeling every time I go by Bike Mart and I see a nice $5,000 carbon bike, and I'm like, I don't need it. I have a nice carbon bike. It's just older, but it's okay.
Right.
So I have that control. Now, do I have the control when I go to like Walmart or something? No, I don't. If I'm really good at buying things, I'm like, oh, that'd be cute for the yard. Yeah, I have a little problem with that. I'll set a budget, but that's just more of a suggestion.
Right.
So, I think everybody's guilty of that. You go into the store and you're like, I'm going to get A, B, and C. But then you come out with a laundry list of stuff and you're like, all I came in here was for 3 things, and I walked out with $200 worth of stuff. So I don't have kids, so I'm assuming that happens probably more with kids as you're walking around, because things look so fun and colorful, which I'm like, and I channel my inner 5-year-old a lot. So when things look cool, I'm like, oh, I need that. Yeah.
Right.
I'm not too old for a lunchbox.
So sometimes I intentionally don't take my wife and my son just because of that reason, because
you get it.
right. So if I need A, B, and C, then I will just get A, B, and C. But with my wife and my son, then we
go to other. Like, you're so strong, Aniel.
I have to improvise then.
Yeah,
so
you're so strong. Yeah. Be like, oh, you know what? Right now, Walmart's not letting anybody in that's not over 10. I'm sorry.
So funny thing is, like, during COVID, my grocery expense went down because of I was the only one going out grocery shopping. I wasn't taking my wife and my son. So
well, and prices have increased regardless.
And I'm not talking about the price increase, but the items, extra items.
Right, but that will make your price increase too, because even my grocery bill is high. But I eat plant-based, so that makes it even higher. Because you know, the healthier you eat, the more expensive it is. Which I don't get that, and someone can change that. I really appreciate it. Mm-hmm. So that can make your grocery bill kind of go off the chain. And then plus, you know, I'm really bad about buying stuff for my yard and like, I need those wind chimes. Anyway, I love Walmart sometimes. Anyway, well, thank you, Aniel, so much for coming on and sharing what you do for the district. And you're greatly appreciated here, I know, by everyone, because you keep us on track financially, and I always appreciate the updates that we get to share with the public, and we will continue to do that. And again, you can see that on our disclosure page on our website at tc911.org. And if you have any questions or comments about this podcast or any of the other 20 other podcasts, you can email me at publiced@tc911.org or message me on any of our social media platforms. But Aniel, I'm excited to say, this is the end of season 1.
Oh, wow. I'm glad to be part of this season 1, and I'm glad that you ended with me.
Yeah, just ended it. Just going to close it out with Aniel. Going to end it with the Money Man. And I appreciate everybody listening so far. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you haven't listened to all of them, our whole season 1 is chatting with our staff and getting to know all the fabulous men and women that work here at the district office and what they do. And until season 2 starts up, I hope that everyone has a fabulous week.